Thank you, Cerebral, for sponsoring today's video. Cerebral is a mental health platform that provides clients with access to ongoing online prescription medication management, counseling, and therapy for anxiety, depression, insomnia, and other conditions, all for a flat monthly rate. Treatment for ADHD, bipolar, and PTSD are available in some states. Cerebral allows you to visit with your provider, therapist, or care counselor online from the comfort of your home when it's most convenient for you. You can message your counselor at any time, so it's kind of like having a counselor in your pocket. If you guys have been following me for some time, you know that I have struggled with my mental health, and today's video is about my new diagnosis, which Cerebral helped me to learn about, and they're helping me manage that as we speak. What I personally love about the app is I can message my caregiver right from the app on my phone. There are also exercises that you can do. You can also journal right on the app, and you can see your upcoming appointments and medications that have been prescribed to you, as well as how many refills that you have and when the renewal date is required. It's all so easy right from your phone. And it's affordable.
And that is really freaking important.
If you would like to join Cerebral and take the next step on working on your mental health, click the link in the description box of this video. Your first month starts at just $30. I have been sitting here just thinking about how to start this video, and it's really hard, like way harder than I thought it was gonna be. And I've been planning on making this video for a couple of weeks now, so I've kind of gone over it in my head and like thought about how I would talk about it, and I don't know, I sat down in front of the camera and it just got really hard. But hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who has served time in prison, if you don't already know that. If you wanna follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever gonna be $2, and there's gonna be a new video by the time you see this video. Got a little behind on Patreon, but I also have a vlog channel and a podcast, and I'm definitely going to be talking about my new diagnosis on my vlog channel because I want to vlog and document this whole process. So go subscribe to that. I will pin it in the comment section down below. But let's get started on today's video. So I have been struggling for some time, and I feel as though like every 6 months or so, I'll film a new video about just how depressed I have been and how my depression just seems to get worse at times, and it's kind of like a roller coaster. And I'll film that video and then things will kind of get better. I don't live in a constant state of depression, but my depression is very real. So I have PTSD and depression, and I have a new diagnosis. And as minor as it might seem to say what my new diagnosis is, I want you to know that I have been struggling with this, I mean, essentially forever, but like now just realizing that this is really what has been wrong with my mind. Like, it's overwhelming in a sense, and it's also eye-opening and helpful to have a name on what has been going on. My new diagnosis is going to require me to take medication. And I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know why I'm crying. It's just overwhelming because for years I thought that I would be okay without medication. And, you know, 18 months ago or so, I got a medical marijuana card for my PTSD, insomnia, and depression, and that has been so helpful to me. It is a tool that I have in my toolbox to use when I am struggling, and it's mostly with my insomnia that I will smoke. So it's not an everyday thing, it's just a tool to use as needed, right? It also can help with my depression. So for a really long time, I thought that my recovery had to be abstinent-based. And then I realized, nope, you're not okay, you need help, which is totally fine. So my recovery changed. And then I got a medical marijuana card, which I have been very vocal about and adamant about on social media and on this YouTube channel. But there was still a missing component, and there was still something wrong with my brain. My new diagnosis is ADHD. And while that might seem very minor and the symptoms of it might not seem as serious as other mental illnesses, please know that it is so serious. It has made my everyday life so unbelievably difficult and so hard. And again, while the symptoms might sound minor, they're not in real life application. So I lose things constantly. I have always just called myself scatterbrained, where I start a task and I can't finish it. I cannot for the life of me finish one load of laundry. I can't put the groceries away without getting distracted and doing something else. And over the last few months, I just thought, as far as YouTube goes, I lost my edge. I don't have the same desire to film or edit, and I need more and more and more help. And I'm so blessed and so grateful to be in a position to be able to have hired help. I have someone that works on my thumbnails and I have someone that edits for me, because sitting down and editing requires concentration and focus that I just do not have. And I would sit at my computer crying, unable to complete and edit a video. While I love filming, editing is so much harder. So I might sit down and film, and that might take me 30 to 45 minutes, which is still sometimes very difficult for me. But the editing can last anywhere from 2 to 5 hours, depending on how complicated the video is. So because of my ADHD, it just got harder and harder and harder and harder. Because I wasn't able to complete tasks, and because I was losing things constantly, I started to just feel like a complete failure. And I've been very open about that on this YouTube channel. I've talked about my depression, my PTSD, and feeling like I'm failing is just such a real part of ADHD. And I can't believe it's taken me this long to go in and get a new diagnosis, because
oh my gosh.
there are a lot of misconceptions with ADHD, and you have to remember that there is a spectrum. So I'm on a spectrum, and my ADHD might look different than someone else's. And as I am working through this with my doctors, and I'm so grateful for my Cerebral team who has been able to re-diagnose me, and they are helping me on this journey, it's all starting to make sense. So feeling like a failure, like not being able to complete a single task, was making me crazy. I felt so scatterbrained and so all over the place. And it's just been just so hard. And I got my new diagnosis, and I told Reese. Now, he lives with me every day, has lived with me for 8 years, and he knows me best. He sees the daily struggle. I told him, I'm like, can you believe this? Can you believe that I was just diagnosed with ADHD and that's what's going on? And he kind of smiled at me and he said, I can't believe you're just realizing that. And it just hit me like, I've been struggling with this for so long. And I know this might seem minor, but it's not. When you're struggling every single day, it's very hard. So I've been trying to wrap my head around my new diagnosis. I'm trying to learn more about my diagnosis and how it has affected me, not just in my adult life, but how it has affected me all of my life. I was always told as a kid I had so much potential, but I had no friends and no social life, and books were my best friend, and I was so introverted, and I just could not do things like other kids. I was constantly losing my backpack, constantly losing my coat, constantly losing my stuff, not being able to complete homework. And I just gave up, and I'm like, I'll just go in school suspension, and that's where I'll live, and I won't even go to class anymore because it just got so hard. But I would become hyper-focused on other things. So in my teenage life, I was hyper-focused on drug dealing and making money that way. I have since learned that those with ADHD are 10 times more likely to fall into addiction, and that was obviously the case as a kid. I would hyper-focus and be able in the 10th grade to do college level work because they were paying me money. So I was hyper-focused because there was this reward of, this monetary reward. I was hyper-focused, I would do someone else's homework, but when it came to my own, I couldn't handle it and I couldn't focus. Over time, I started a YouTube channel and I became hyper-focused on it, studying the data and the analytics and how to grow and how to talk to a camera and how to edit. I was so hyper-focused on that for a really long time, and then I felt like I had lost my edge. And that is just a clear sign of ADHD. And while I'm not a very hyper person, that's okay. There are 3 categories for ADHD. The primary characteristics for ADHD are impulsivity, inattention, and hyperactivity. And you can have a combination of those. You can lean more towards one side, like inattention. You can lean more towards the hyper side. But I've learned in the past few weeks that I've been studying it, that ADHD often goes unrecognized in women because it presents differently in women than it does men. And often as kids, it goes missed if you don't have more of the hyperactivity. When it's internal and people can't see something going on, it gets overlooked. So this has been overlooked all of my life. So when it comes to being diagnosed, my caregivers look at how often these symptoms repetitively and chronically impact my daily life. And it is an every single day struggle. So what happens with me is I have all of these tasks that I have to do, right? Film a video, edit a video, do a motivational speaking event, I am contractually obligated to work with certain people. I have, responsibilities, children and grocery shopping and doctor's appointments and laundry and the dogs. So I have all of this stuff in this column, like the work column, and then all of the stuff at home column. There's so many tasks that I have to do throughout the day, and my brain could not organize them in level of importance. So like I was so focused on the fact that I hadn't gotten any laundry done that I couldn't do my job. And then I'd get so focused that the garbage has to be taken out or the dishes aren't done, and I couldn't do anything else. So level of importance for me, I struggle with organizing those tasks. So I'll start to do one task and I can't finish it. And then I go to another one and I can't finish it. And then before you know it, the whole house is just weird and a mess. And I have half of a video done and the dishes are not done. And maybe I forgot to put the laundry from the washer to the dryer. And then I tried to go get my kids, but I lost my keys. So now I need Reese to come help me and get the kids from school because I can't find my car keys. And this is just a daily thing that is chronically affecting my life. The harder it got, the more depressed I got. One of my diagnoses was definitely impacting the other. So the less I got done, the worse I felt, the more depressed I got, and the more my depression would deepen and worsen. I genuinely thought for a long time that I was just crazy and scatterbrained and all over the place, and I was just depressed because I would have moments where I couldn't get up. And this is ADHD paralysis, where I have so many things to do that I can't do any of them. And I just thought that was my depression. And because symptoms can often overlap in multiple diagnoses, things go unnoticed. So this has gone unnoticed for me for a really long time. But now it's just all making sense. I have not started medication yet. I do plan on documenting that and letting you guys know the process in which we kind of handle that, if that makes sense. When I received my diagnosis, I cried because I know that I'm going to have to take medication. And pills have been such a huge trigger for me that I am scared to take medication. But I can't deprive myself of medicine that I need because I struggled with addiction. My dogs are very loud in the background. And that is my message to you, is that sometimes our recovery changes. Sometimes we get a new mental health diagnosis, and sometimes we need help. And you don't have to feel like a failure, or you don't have to feel shame in taking medication that you need. Don't let other people tell you that you don't need medication. They're not your doctor. Listen to your doctor and make the best decision for you. And that is what I'm doing in my life, is I'm listening to my doctors and not outside noise when people try to tell me that I don't need medication when I clearly do. I clearly do. I'm filming this video so that someone out there feels less alone, and I don't want anyone to feel shame in needing medication for your mental health. It's okay. It's okay. As much as I am a little afraid to start this journey because pills have always triggered me in the past, I need it and I need help, and I'm optimistic that I'm going to get the help that I need and that things are going to work out and I'm going to be okay. It's just kind of been hard to wrap my head around the fact that this has gone unnoticed all of my life, and I'm 32 years old. So as frustrated as I am that it's gone unnoticed for so long, I'm also relieved that we have an answer and that we have a new diagnosis and a new plan in action. And I'm going to be starting medication soon, and I'm going to document that for you guys, and I'm going to share this with you, and I'm going to be open about it because I think someone needs to be, and I will be that person. I guess, I don't know. I want to share my journey with you guys. I don't know if this video is super rambly because I am a little emotional still learning about my diagnosis, but it does all make sense now. It really makes sense. This whole time, I'm not just crazy, scatterbrained, or lazy, or just struggle with depression. I'm struggling with ADHD, and my brain is just, it's chaotic at this moment. I know that the symptoms of ADHD might not sound severe to those that don't understand the struggle of it. I promise you, it is severe and it impacts lives daily. So if you hear someone has ADHD, don't necessarily just think that they're hyper, or don't think that, oh, it's not a big deal, or just suck it up or muscle through. Don't say things like that to people that are struggling with their mental health. ADHD is serious. It's a lot more serious than it sounds when you are struggling with it. So please try to be more empathetic and kind if you hear someone in your life gets diagnosed with ADHD or has ADHD. It's not some petty thing that we can just brush off and get over. So I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay in recovery, and please know there is no shame in going in, getting a diagnosis, and needing medication for your mental health. There is no shame in it. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.